Now, southern Ukraine has been hit by strikes from both sides in the war, with Russia launching drones at Odessa and Ukraine fighting back in Melitopol. Well, Ukraine says the Russian drone attacks have left 1.5 million people without power in that southern region of Odessa. The military said that 10 Iranian-made drones were shot down, although 5 did hit critical infrastructure. President Zelensky warned it could take weeks to restore electricity supplies.
Well, we can't be completely sure or independently confirm the reports. The Russians and the Ukrainians are saying very different things, as you might imagine. The Russians are talking about a sort of holiday camp or hotel on the outskirts of town being hit, far fewer casualties, and suggesting that they were civilians. The Ukrainians claim to have killed several dozen Russian fighters, and they've been saying also that they may be members of this Wagner Group of mercenaries. So it could be, if true, a very important, successful strike for the Ukrainians, but unfortunately we can't independently confirm it.
A hostage taker is dead after police moved in on him in the eastern German city of Dresden. His 2 hostages escaped unhurt. Police say the suspect suffered from mental illness and earlier had killed his mother.
Hundreds of officers took part in the police operation, which spanned several hours and several locations before ending here at this shopping mall in central Dresden. After phone negotiations failed to convince the suspect to surrender himself and the woman and child he had taken hostage, police stormed the shopping center.
Just a few days before Christmas in 1988, the town of Lockerbie was suddenly engulfed in flame. Pan Am Flight 103 was flying from Heathrow to New York when over southwest Scotland, a massive explosion in the cargo hold brought it down in seconds. All 259 passengers and crew died, most of them American, as did 11 others when wreckage fell on their homes. This is the man the US authorities accuse of making the bomb, Abu Agela Massoud, seen here in Libya, where he had been jailed for unrelated crimes. 2 years ago, the US Attorney General formally charged Massoud with making the device which brought down Flight 103. It was 5 years ago that the FBI learned that Abu Agela Massoud had confessed to a Libyan official that he had built the Lockerbie bomb. Now, he's finally been arrested and is being extradited to the United States.
Kosovo Serbs are out in the streets again, and the fears of renewed violence loom. Demonstrators blocked the streets in the northern part of the country after a former police officer, an ethnic Serb, was arrested. He was detained following 2 incidents this week where election officials and centers were attacked and an officer was shot and wounded. Kosovar police say the blockade halted traffic and were forced to close 2 border crossings with Serbia. The Serbian president announced he will be making an unprecedented request to NATO to deploy Serbian peacekeepers and police in Kosovo.
Meanwhile, distressing news continues to come from Iran. The hardline regime has executed a second protester. This is according to the judiciary's news agency. Reports say that 23-year-old Majid Reza Rahanayard was hanged for killing 2 security officials. The statement released by the news agency further accuses the protester of waging a war against God. It is being said that he was hanged in public in the city rather than inside a prison. Activists were quick to react on social media, calling it a criminal act by the establishment.
Well, a Palestinian teenage girl was killed overnight in the West Bank city of Jenin after clashes broke out during an IDF raid. The Palestinian Health Ministry says Jana Zakarna was pronounced dead at the hospital after being shot in the head by Israeli soldiers. The official Palestinian news agency, Wafa, reporting that the girl was on the roof of her home and was found dead after Israeli troops withdrew from the city. The military said it was aware of the incident and is now investigating.
Really sad news to bring you. We're hearing that 3 boys aged 11, 10 and 8 have died after being pulled from the icy lake in Solihull. So we knew that 4 children had been rescued. I'm so sorry, this is terrible news, obviously. So those 3 boys aged 8, 10 and 11 have died after being pulled from that lake. They'd fallen into the icy water. There were reports that 6 people had been seen on the ice, and emergency crews were looking, obviously, around that lake. Having had those initial reports, the emergency crews got there incredibly quickly, within 7 minutes.